Welcome back to Off-Season Outlook. Today we're going to be going over if the New England Patriots are destined for the inevitable Super Bowl hangover. Listen, they're going to be going from the third easiest strength of schedule last year to the sixth hardest. That is very notable. They lost K'Lavon Chaisson, Khyiris Tonga, Jalen Hawkins, Stephon Diggs in free agency. But listen, I think they make up for that production and more by signing Romeo Doubs to replace Stephon Diggs. Elijah Vera-Tucker could be a very interesting piece of their interior offensive line if he is able to stay on the field. They get Draymond Jones over from the Ravens. He gives them some speed on the edge. Julian Hill can be a great blocking tight end in 12 and 13 personnel situations. And they get Kevin Byard on a one-year deal, who always seems to be playing well on competitive teams. He was awesome for the Chicago Bears in the last couple seasons. And then obviously we have that looming trade for A.J. Brown that's just kind of hanging up in the air. If they're able to get him, he would be a major contributor on their offense, giving them some major juice to an already incredible offense that really produced in 2025. I mean, second most points scored in the NFL with 490. They were tied for first in the NFL in EPA per play with the Rams at .13, first in total EPA. First in completion percentage was Drake Maye at 72%. He had the best passer rating in the NFL with 113.5. He was neck and neck with Matt Stafford for the MVP. I mean, he had a real case. So why can't they do it again? Well, the O-line wasn't great. 24th in the NFL in sack percentage at 7.82%. That is worse than the Dolphins and Giants. But they made moves to address it. As I mentioned, they bring in Elijah Vera-Tucker. They draft Caleb Lomu at the back end of the first round to play left tackle. They've stayed consistent saying Will Campbell will be their left tackle. Listen, he played through last season with a torn ligament in his right knee. It was a grade 3 MCL sprain. Elliott Wolf has pledged all offseason that he is their left tackle. They will not be moving him inside. But if he struggles, listen, they'll just put the best man out there. If that's Lomu, if that's Campbell, they will have an answer at left tackle. In the second round, they're able to draft Gabe Akis, who I thought was a steal for them in the second round out of Illinois, for some major speed and juice on the edge. It wasn't just their offense that produced last year. Their defense was third in opponent points per game at just under 18, fifth in opponent yards per game. They just had an incredible team. They were fifth, their offense was fifth in yards per play at 5.8. I like a second year of Travion Henderson under the Josh McDaniels offense. I think he can really blossom. They're a young team. They have their play caller. They retained Josh McDaniels. He definitely wasn't getting any head coach looks anywhere after the Broncos and Raiders disasters, but that's besides the point. As the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, he did an incredible job. Listen, it hasn't been the best offseason for the Patriots off the field. They had the Diana Russini scandal with Mike Vrabel. The only coaches scandal that I can think of that is somewhat comparable was the Urban Meyer bar video. And listen, the Jags were 2-7 following that, and you might say, 2-7, that's terrible. They were 0-4 to start, 2-7 after that scandal. I don't think it affected them. It might have helped them. Listen, is Vrabel going to be distracted? I don't know. He doesn't call the defense. He doesn't call the offense. We know Mike Vrabel is a football guy through and through. I think when the season starts, when the time comes, he is going to put his head down, get to work with the team. I'm not worried about it. Listen, past Super Bowl hangover teams, I think of the 2022 Los Angeles Rams and that 5-12 season following their Super Bowl win. That season was just disastrous for them. They had season-ending injuries to Matthew Stafford. He had elbow tendonitis that bothered him in training camp. He ended up getting shut down mid-season because of that. They had Cooper Kupp. He was out most of the season with a high ankle sprain. Their offensive line was ravaged with injuries. They had to start 12 different combinations in the first 12 games. They did not have a first-round pick that season. They faced the toughest strength of schedule in the league. They had opponents with a .567 win percentage. That's a tough schedule, and it showed. But listen, that year was a rebuild and reload year for the Rams. They were able to get the rookies on the field a lot. That helped them down the stretch in these past couple seasons, as we've seen. But listen, I think the bottom line is the New England Patriots replaced all their lost production and more, in my opinion. They were too good last year to really have this drop off. I understand the strength of schedule, and it's reflected in the betting odds. They're still not favored to win the division. That would be the Buffalo Bills, which I don't know. I mean, they won 14 games last year, and their over/under for wins this season is 9.5. Obviously, that's because of that strength of schedule. Their Super Bowl odds have not been plagued by the scandal or anything like that. It's been around plus 1,600 or plus 1,800, pretty consistent across all betting platforms. Listen, I don't think the scandal is going to loom large. As I said, Mike Vrabel is a football guy. He's all business. Robert Kraft is definitely not one to judge when it comes to these things, so I don't think there's any chance of him getting let go before the start of the season. I think, if anything, the Patriots getting embarrassed in the Super Bowl with their injuries, with everything like that, I think it's just going to give them a chip on their shoulder for this upcoming season. I don't think it's going to hinder them at all. They have the production. They retain the talent. I think the Patriots are going to surprise some people this year. I don't think the Super Bowl hangover is inevitable for them, and I'm excited to see what Drake Maye can do in 2026, 2027. This has been Offseason Outlook. Thank you very much.